I'd just like to give a bit of a round of applause, but also I'd like to tell you a little story, if I can, just before I hand over to Michael Avery. My mother-in-law passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And, of course, there's an estate which has to be wrapped up and so on and so forth. There were some complications because she didn't live here and so on and so forth, lived up north in Zim. And with Capital Legacy, we actually employed them because there was some of the estate was here. And for 2 years, they've been working quite hard at it, not full 2 years, but there's things that have to happen in the estate, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you, they are the most professional people that I've ever dealt with. So if you haven't got a will, or if you haven't used their services, I'd suggest you do so, because I have been nothing but really, really impressed with the team. They, give you all the feedback you need, they do all the work, they do everything. They really are good. My little personal endorsement this afternoon, because it was wrapped up sort of like today, well, Friday today, and I thought it was worth mentioning. They really have been very good. Capital Legacy, your number one provider of wills and estates, so it just makes sense that they also now offer life.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much again for joining me right here in Solomon's Temple. I'm Solomon Izang Shams, and we continue our conversation with Elisha Mukisa, who we had in the first part. If you hadn't watched it, please go watch it. The first part where we spoke about his life and how he got delivered from the homosexual lifestyle. He is an ex-gay person. He shared a lot about his experiences and what happened, and especially just educating people on how this movement, this agenda, the gay agenda, is being pushed around, especially using money, the vulnerable young people that want things and stuff like that. So we're back with Elisha again. Thank you so much again, Elisha.
You're welcome. Thank you for hosting me too.
Yes. So let's look at homosexuality. You are a born-again Christian, and before you got born again, you were involved in the homosexual lifestyle, gay lifestyle. And a couple of years ago, I've been reading quite a bit about just certain leaders church leaders, bishops and pastors and prophets in Uganda that are suspected to be a part of the gay community. They're in the closet, but I didn't have any sort of like close person to those kind of situations to confirm that or to tell me what the state of the LGBTIQ is within the church. But what has been your experience so far?
Well, for the time I was working for this NGO, I realized a lot of things, and one of their agendas was that they were meeting challenges in outspreading their gay agenda. So, and then there was that citation that there was that kind of interjection by religious leaders. So these guys sat down. Like, I want to say that this is a well-organized community with a lot of funding to influence their agenda to keep going. So they sat down and came up with a resolution that they would draft an MOU, offer money to religious leaders, and of course buy them off. Yes. And I want to confirm that I'm going to send you a link of that of the reporting on what I'm saying. 35 religious leaders. This is what the link says. 35 religious leaders.
About major religious leaders, prophet, pastors that run big churches.
Yes, of course they targeted big pastors that have influence.
Influence, yes. Around
Uganda. And those big churches in Uganda that have influence. So they were offered money, and I remember the money was over 600 million Ugandan shillings. And then an MOU was signed with these pastors to promote. The thing says to vow to promote and to practice homosexuality in church. But this is indefinitely, like it's not something that you would a layperson would actually realize. But then if you've been in the LGBT community, you're able to realize how they get some of the boys within the choir and allow them
so they target the boys, the young boys in the choir in churches.
Yeah, and the girls. You would find instances where a boy who is born male has piercings on his ears, and then they are praising, and then they are girlish, and then their way of conduct is really questionable. But then the pastors will never at any one moment try to, inquire what is wrong, because first of all, they participated in that MOU and vowed to promote, to practice. They hide behind inclusivity. You don't have to chase away LGBT. Let somebody be gay as at the same time they are Christian. This is madness. This is madness of the highest order.
Yes. So
And
this NGO
somebody accepts.
This NGO that you were talking about here, you were a part of them for about 7 years, and they are funded internationally by European money, American money.
Yes.
So they have big
Definitely
budget.
they are. Yes, of course. When you look at their monthly budget in Ugandan currency, they're even given 11 billion just to spend in 1 month. So you ask yourself, what in a month? Why would somebody be given 11 billion? This is to buy off police, to offer security.
What was the NGO registered as to do what? I'm sure they
Or
didn't
the
register
NGO
on the gay agenda.
Yeah, according to the NGO Bureau report, it says they had been registered as human rights.
Yes, okay.
But then there were discoveries made that they were actually not into human rights, but they were in something different. And it was then that the NGO Bureau board.
Hello? Are you there, Elisha? Hello, Elisha? We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you at all. We cannot even see you. Do you mind logging out and logging in again? Can you log out and log in again? If you can hear me. Okay, yeah, you could hear me, but we cannot hear you. So please log in again whilst we wait. So we're talking to Elisha Mukisa. He is ex-gay based in Kampala in Uganda. And he participated in a lot of gay activities, but now he's out of it, and he has seen so many things. He has experienced so many things, his data just finished. His data just finished. So I don't know how we're gonna do this. Nobody's in Uganda to get him data, right? Because I'm here in South Africa. Not sure. Let's see what we can do as we wait. Is there anyone in Uganda watching me right now that could actually get him data on the MTN network? If you could get him data on the MTN network, if you are in Uganda, watching in Uganda, if there's anyone, please send it. Just leave a message here so I can give you his number. Because we needed to finish this interview. I tried to send somebody. Okay. All right. Let me give you his number. Thank you so much. Let me give you his number, Charlie. His number is plus 256 782 974717. Right? Yeah. So this is the number there, Charlie. Plus 256 782 794 717. He's on the MTN network. He's on the MTN network. It's on the MTN network. We just needed, I felt we just needed to finish with it. Okay. 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 If you're watching, data is coming your way. Thank you so much, Charlie. Charlie says, give me his number. This is Charlie here saying, give me his number. Give him more data. Give him more data. That's good. So we're just going to be a little bit patient, maybe in the next just few minutes, so we can get him back as we look at the gay agenda against the church in Uganda. What's been going on? How it's been going? And how can we educate ourselves? Because they see the agenda is not just for Uganda. The agenda is for, across the continent of Africa. That's the thing with some of this, gay agenda. And it is important for us to understand it. It is important for us to look at it, to examine it. Now that you actually have churches supporting it, not because they actually biblically believe it, no, but because they are offered money to do that. They are offered money to promote it, to protect it, to support it, right? So it's almost it becomes quite a lot. It gives us quite a lot of problems, if we tend to look at it that way, because we have to try to make sure that we continue to protect young people, especially when the gay agenda targets young people who want things, who need money, so they offer them money and all that. Young people who are very impressionable, you can convince them a lot easier than you can convince older people. You can brainwash them a lot easier than you could brainwash, older people. So you have all this kind of what do you call it? You have all this kind of situation going on, and you really get to ask yourself, what do we do? How do we stand? A lot of us believe in your man of God, in your pastor, in your bishop, in your prophet. But is he really pushing the Jesus agenda, or he's pushing the gay agenda? And these are questions we need to really ask ourselves, isn't it? Are they pushing the Jesus agenda, or are they pushing are they pushing Are they pushing their own agenda, or are they pushing the gay agenda because of financial benefits? Thank you so much, guys. You guys provided data for, you see the beauty of the YouTube, you know. Somebody here just like, oh no, you know, I can get data for him. And he's back. So Elisha is back with us. So you're back, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you to Charlie and also another my friend. And guys, if you want to support Elisha, I put his number here. If you want to support him in any way financially, you could see he's out of funds and all that kind of stuff. If you want to support him financially or whatever, please get in touch with him via this number, right? So I want to really thank you guys. Charlie Bams, thank you so much. You know, you got a 7 GB data loaded for him. So thank you so much. So if you guys want to load more data for him, please make sure you do so via the number that I sent to you. Isn't it amazing? You
It
have never
is.
met Elisha. I've never met him. I've never met you. I'm in a different part of Africa. You are in a different part of Africa, but we managed to just talk easily and get him back here. Thank you so much. So let's get back to the MOU that was sent to some of these pastors, about 35, is it, or 31 churches?
35 of them. 35.
So what does that mean to the congregation of such churches? Does that mean that they're not really they're going to promote the gay agenda and not speak against it and just allow their members to do whatever?
Yes, exactly. This is what is happening in Uganda. You're going to find powerful so-called ministries, and when it comes to chasing out these other demons, poverty, fornication, adultery, they are good at that. But when it comes to the demon of homosexuality, none of these 35 religious leaders with their churches can ever pronounce themselves on anything to do with homosexuality. So this can give you a clear picture of how homosexuality is now eating up church, where in that MOU there was a provision to allow the agents of this NGO to thrively and freely exercise their mandate within the churches by recruiting church goers. And this is happening in very powerful ministries in Uganda. You're going to find instances of boys with piercings on their ears, putting on very short pants, and of course with boys within boys that have influence, but already lowering and recruiting other children, other youth within the church. And then, like I said, the pastors, since were involved in the signing and consenting to this MOU, they're always silent. They never mention anything to do with LGBT. In fact, on their radio stations or TV stations, you will never find anything to do with LGBT content, because once they consented to the other MOU that we were talking about, they can never come out to broadcast anything contrary to that MOU in regards to LGBT. So this is giving you a clear picture of how church is now being used as a target of harboring, first of all, lowering, promoting, and promoting homosexuality in church. Yes, and it is happening here in Uganda.
So it's just sort of like the churches were paid to buy their silence, just so they're not going to speak about homosexuality as a sin. They would not speak about the lifestyle. They would not encourage their people not to get into that lifestyle. Basically, first is to be silent about it. Because if you don't talk about it, then it's almost like it's normal, isn't it? Because you see it in the media, you see it, you get exposed to it online and stuff like that. So what has that done to especially young people in churches?
You're asking that what does this have to do with the young people in the church?
Like the silence. Are we seeing a rise or a growth of, the gay, lesbian community in the churches now, in their lifestyle of
Yes,
people?
yes. I'll share with you one of my petitions that I have written to the president and then to the Speaker of Parliament, saying there's an increase in the funding and then the participation of children, youth into homosexuality, and I petition them to do an investigation with all the evidences and all the forms of sources that I availed to them. And I'm sure some investigation is ongoing. Most of the churches have been eaten up. Children in churches are participating willingly, and those, of course, that are not aware, but it is highly growing, and it is of course alarming. Why would now so many churches come out to embrace homosexuality as something not seen to be a sin anymore? You know, it's so touching. But I've petitioned relevant government agencies in Uganda, including the president and then the Speaker of Parliament, and said you need to investigate the increased funding of homosexuality activities within church and school, and then the participation is growing. People are
Mm,
participating from hotels, from shelters, from churches, because of the money that these people are using. So are we trying to preserve the morals of our great nation Uganda, or we are selling out our values as a country, as our morals, our cultural morals, and then the church morals? Are we selling out everything at the expense of the money, because
mm,
whites are giving us money? So are we probably selling out uh, our morals, our cultural beliefs, and everything, because at the expense of the money? Or yeah, so I have petitioned, and I'm like, this has increased, and I have availed a lot of evidence, and I'm sure something will be done, because now
mm,
I want to believe it's God pushing for everything. I have seen God push away these guys. Even when they try to run to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they run to Internal Affairs, they run to where, they run to court, they're not
mm.
helped. Yeah, the
Okay.
reality keeps coming out, and now, of late, I saw on Twitter, I mean on YouTube, they hosted a YouTube whatever kind of meeting, and they were like, "We ran out of the country," and this is what we want them to do, to run away, because first of all, our great nation Uganda is a Christian-based country. We will never, as Ugandans, accept what the whites want us to accept. Now, if
Mm,
you claim to be minorities, why would you, like they claim to be minorities, something like that, minority groups? Why would you want, if you're a group of minorities, why would you want the majority to believe and participate in your ruthless activities, yet you claim to be minorities? You claim
mm,
to be minority, a small group of people, but then you want to you want to take dominion, and then you want other people to believe your lies, believe what believe your agenda, and then so I've petitioned government, and I petitioned other relevant government agencies, saying there is increase in the participation of children within churches, within schools, into homosexuality, and it is all being funded by the Western countries that use these NGOs that claim to be protecting, uh, claiming to be human rights best
mm,
funded, yet that's not what they're doing. They hide behind human rights.
mm.
I don't know whether you've seen the SHR bill. Have you heard of it, the SHR bill?
I know.
There's
Tell
that
us about it.
sexual reproductive, it's called sexual reproductive health bill. When you analyze this bill that was trafficked to the East African Legislative Assembly Parliament, you
Mm,
will realize that the sections trying to promote abortion, homosexuality, and then they hide behind child's rights, that a child shall not be reliable or shall not be held accountable to their parents.
Okay. Yeah, I've
That's
heard
what
about
I
that.
told you. That's what I told you, that these people found roadblocks, that if they were giving children phones, parents would at least somehow be inquisitive. Now they're trying to do a kind of mechanism, a technical mechanism of seeing how do they pass behind the law and say a child once given a phone shall not be answerable to their parents.
Mm.
And that is the main purpose of that SHR bill. When you look at the so many clauses in it, you realize a lot of these things.
Mm.
Yeah.
So are there, for some of the churches and the pastors to accept to promote the gay agenda, it leaves me with a question. And my question is, are there some pastors, church leaders in Uganda that are also involved in the gay lifestyle? Maybe in the closet.
Yes.
They might be married to a woman, they have kids, but then behind the scene, they engage into with a man. Are there
Yeah,
such?
I don't know whether sorry for the interjection. I don't know whether you've heard of the terminology termed as bisexual. Bisexual, when you go to your dictionary or your Google, is a term used, of course, in the LGBT community to refer to a man who has attraction of the same
Yes,
sexes.
I've heard of
They have
that.
a wife. Yeah,
Yes.
they have a wife, and then they of course use boys. So this is happening, and it's creating a confusion in Ugandan society. Like, it's literally hard for Ugandans to tell who a homosexual is. And many of them, I think, believe by virtue of being feminine, having this feminine character, and then behaving in a girlish way. I think for them, they think that's the only sign of one being gay. But as I am doing awareness, I'm trying to rectify some of these things and say, no, somebody can be gay and hide. Like you're saying, you're using that term, being in a closet. Many of them are gay, only that they are not girlish. So people should have that mind of saying that somebody who is girlish is the one who is gay. Your pastor could be gay. By virtue of fact, them having a wife does not take away the fact that they are not bisexual. They could be bisexual. Yes, they will pretend to the church and say, this is my wife. I know of a senior pastor here in Uganda whose wife also knows that his husband is a gay man, and is using all the church boys in the choir. He knows it. And to prove to you, even when she's doing her lunch hours, she instructed that when she's holding her lunch hours, she doesn't want the boys behind her.
So lunch hour is like what? Lunch hour prayer or worship?
Yeah, lunch hour prayers, like literally the boys used to be singing. But when she realized that yes, the husband is involved, so she's like, I no longer want the boys singing in my time of doing service. Let them wait. When you come, you will have service with them. When I am there, I don't want. Yeah, and then there are these other wives of pastors that are involved in homosexuality who have only decided to maintain their status. Of course, they know that their husbands are into homosexuality. They're using young boys within church and outside church. But then because they want to still maintain their status that, so and so pastor, the wife to pastor so and so is there coming. Please clear the way. Please leave. If it's the bank, please give space. That the wife to so and so pastor is here, So some of them are just living to maintain that status.
That
But they're already
lifestyle.
aware that their husbands are into homosexuality. Yes. Yeah.
They don't want to lose the lifestyle, the cars,
Yeah,
the
the status.
influence.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cars, the patrols. Some of them even have patrols that clear the way that the wife of Pastor so and so is passing. But then the wives know. The wives know that my husband is in this. Even that those wives that those wives out there that are into lesbianism. For
Yes.
example, there
I,
is this
I was going to talk
former
about that.
yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
there's this former wife to Pastor Mutesasira. You know Julie Mutesasra, the one that got married in Canada to a fellow wife?
Yes, yes, yes. I heard that.
Yeah, she's a former Ugandan wife to a pastor. But then I heard of those stories when I was still in the LGBT community, but I never gave it that much attention since I knew one of their agendas was to infiltrate through schools, to infiltrate through churches and take dominion and, uh, get outgrowing in numbers. There's that terminology they use that we should make the circle big. So I
Mm,
have just of late, when I came out, realized why they intend to push their agenda far is to fulfill that other agenda of theirs, to make their circle big. Circle big, how? To make everybody gay.
mm,
But they will
mm,
come in indefinite ways. They'll come in all possible ways that some of the churchgoers will never understand. And this is what we're doing, to create awareness so that people can understand that, oh, when you see this, okay, I have seen this. Now there are so many people that have not gotten knowledge about the gay flags. They don't
mm,
know what a rainbow is. For them, they know rainbow is biblical, but then a certain group of people is using the rainbow for so many wrong reasons. And then
mm,
people don't know, but they've seen these rainbows in church. People have bangles, have badges on their shirts with rainbow, but they don't understand. So through this awareness, is we're targeting as masses and parents, the youth, the children, and sensitizing them, giving them tips that once you see somebody putting on a badge inside church with a rainbow colors, definitely know they're gay. Why
mm,
would God create you male? Why would God create you a boy? And then you go and have piercings put on, those fancy diamond earring, I mean earpin on your ears, yet you're created a male. Your parents
mm,
gave birth to a man, and somebody's saying that, there's another ideology that I found within the LGBT community that is being indoctrinated in boys and girls, that you can be assigned to be gay, like to be transgender. They say they hide behind assignment. That's just an assignment. I was
yeah.
assigned at birth to be male, yet I am female. God made a mistake and created me male in a female body. God made a mistake. How could God have done a mistake, really?
Mm, mm,
And I am trying to write a book, and the book is about how homosexuals are justifying their sinful ways and their lies, that I am born gay, I was assigned a female in a wrong male body, really, you know
mm,
and for me, these are all lies. Of course, I want to conclude by saying these are all lies from the pits of hell. It's the devil trying to manifest his evil ways and his agendas, of course, through infiltrating schools where he targets the young generation. Because, like I
mm,
said, this guy sat down and understood that, okay, we've been getting roadblocks from several categories of people, several categories of ages of people. So now that target is on the children, who they think have needs and probably want money. And now they've strategized more than 17, 15. Now they're targeting even nursery kids, where they've drafted so many books which we've tried to submit to the Ministry of Education and say, you need to strike out these books from our curriculum. And then, because they're doing booklets and sending them to schools, to nursery schools, and saying the books have indication that Peter got married to Elisha, with those kind of cartoon drawings where Elisha is having a relationship with Peter. And for me, this is so bad that the church cannot even come out to condemn such things. The church is quiet. Church is
mm,
so quiet. Yeah, but then
mm,
I'm not surprised why the church is quiet. I always refer myself to the MOU. I'm like, oh, I now understand why the church is quiet. Yeah,
mm, mm.
yeah.
So why do you think pastors and church leaders and prophets get involved in the gay lesbian, homosexuality lifestyle?
I think many of them are interested in traveling abroad. You know, these people offer what they call those trips to their countries, the visas. So many of them will decline from mentioning at the expense of saying they will deny me a visa. And then others just want to live a fancy lifestyle. I know of some prophets here who are gay, and they're driving over 10 Range Rovers. Some of them are driving very expensive cars. So many. Why would the man of God move with 10 vehicles? For what? Who is going to kill you? The Bible already says that if God does not protect the city, the soldiers and the people that protect it are protecting it for nothing. Now, why would the
Okay.
religious leader have over 10 vehicles? For what? 10
Mm,
Range Rovers? For what?
mm,
I find
mm,
this I find it unreasonable, and then of course not justifiable. But then these guys, I've realized that these religious leaders just want to live a fancy lifestyle at the expense of their flocks, and then some of them restrain themselves. I mean, like keep silent on matters of immorality, which of course church needs to come out and condemn. But
yeah.
because they have fear for them being denied visa to either go to the US or those Western countries, so they're like, those matters, go slow on those matters. I've heard religious leaders say, don't mention my name anywhere. Don't mention my name anywhere. If somebody wants to support you, they say, okay, I'm offering this help, but please don't mention my name anywhere. You know, they'll deny me
Mm,
visa to go to the US once they know that I'm the one probably helping you out to reach out to schools and yeah.
mm, mm, mm. Finally, what do you think should be done, in churches, individuals, members of the church, people who are Christians, in trying to make sure that, we minimize the damage that's caused by the gay agenda?
I would appeal to the church, especially the church leaders, to come out strongly and condemn acts of homosexuality. There is no way you talk of inclusivity. You can only talk of inclusivity if a person is willing to change and they say, I have been gay, but now I am no longer gay. And then they
Mm,
come out, and that is when they can be welcomed. But then there's no way you can say, you're giving platform to a person who is still priding in sin, and then they say, I'm gay, at the same time I'm Christian. There's nothing like that biblically. So church must come out and condemn in the greatest of terms possible these acts of homosexuality, the increase in its funding, the increase in the way it's eating up church and schools and children and the youth. Church
mm,
needs to strongly stand and say, we are refuting the demon of homosexuality. We are refuting the money that is being offered by the homosexual supporters, because this is happening, but then church is silent. What triggers my mind most is, why is church silent?
mm,
Why is church silent on matters of homosexuality? Why are they asking for money for offerings, offertory, and then tithing, and then they forget the demon of homosexuality that is eating up this generation like nothing? Why?
mm,
Why do they ask for money? Why do they ask for money for their vehicles, or to have their TV stations be left out on broadcasting sites? Why? And then forget about homosexuality, which is eating up another person's child, which is eating up their own children. Why?
mm, mm,
Yes.
mm,
Yeah. So
mm,
my appeal would be that church should strongly condemn, should stand on solid reasons and say, we are condemning in whatever manner it is, condemn homosexuality without compromise, without fear, without favor of anybody. Yeah. I would
mm.
basically submit that as we conclude.
Thank you so much, Elisha Mukisa, all the way from Kampala in Uganda. Thank you for sharing about your life and
You're
also
welcome.
sharing about, your experiences and the advocacy work that you're doing. Guys, you can check him out on Facebook, Elisha Mukisa, just the way his name is written. And in bracket, you will see X-gay. In bracket, X-gay. I'm sure there's going to be content there that is going to be educational to you, that you can also get some information and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much. And I do hope we keep in touch, and all the best with your work.
Okay. Thank you for hosting me. God bless you.
God bless you, bro. That is Elisha Mukisa. All the way. So guys, thank you so much, man. There's always going to be different agendas. The church is marching on, and the gates of hell shall not prevail. Marching on doesn't just mean we're marching without resistance, without really a fight. It's a fight, it's a battle. Yourself as a Christian, you have to fight every day to make sure you walk with God. The church in itself, we, the body, we need to be able to keep fighting to make sure that we do what we feel God has called us to do. There is going to be distractions. There's going to be a lot of battles that we need to go through, but I hope that together we will keep fighting. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. My name is Solomon Izangi Shams. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Solomon's Temple. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.